A row has erupted over Jeremy Evil Clarkson's column in The Sun about Meghan Markle at the weekend. The Grand Tour presenter compared the Duchess of Sussex to serial killer Rose West, something that even I think is a bit of an overreaction, and that he dreams of people throwing excrement at her. I think it's sort of Game of Thrones thing, but I've never seen Game of Thrones, so I wouldn't know. Anyway, Jezza has since issued a statement, not an apology, I must emphasise, in which he said he was horrified to cause so much hurt and would be more careful in future. Well, with me to discuss this free speech debate is Tessa Dunlop, historian, broadcaster and author of the new book, Elizabeth and Philip. Tessa, welcome.
Hello, thank you.
I get the feeling that you're going to interrogate me here.
No, I was just disappointed with a tweet that I felt rather clumsily popped out, suggesting that on the one hand, yes, Jeremy Clarkson's comments were misogynist and rather unpleasant, but on the other hand, and here you abused history, you were going to defend his right to freedom of speech. It was the altar you were prepared to die on, and you reminded us with a sort of, jackboot analogy that 60 to 100 million people had died in the Second World War to protect our freedoms of speech.
Not the Second World War.
Well, in the last century.
No. The 60 to 100 million I was referring to were the corpses laid at the feet of the Marxists, who controlled and compelled speech and turned people into group thinkers.
Right.
So you missed the point of my tweet.
I missed it. Well, indeed. Well, then you must craft your tweets.
Anyway, let's leave my tweets alone, and you tell me why this is dreadful.
Well, it's extraordinary that someone like you, with such a fine public school education, is lumbering under the misconception that we have complete freedom of speech. If I was a paedophile or a terrorist or a fascist, you wouldn't be platforming me right now. If I was inciting hatred against a different race or religion or someone of transgender or disability, I would not be platformed. That would be illegal. So it's a nonsense to suggest we have to let everyone spew out filth and poison left, right and centre, especially men with disproportionately large platforms. And let me tell you, dear Loza, there's an awful lot of you. I don't find it acceptable. And I think what you did was disingenuous.
Well, I condemned the way he spoke and then defended his right to free speech.
Yeah.
What's wrong with that?
It was almost like saying, let's pat him on the head and put him back in his box. Except his box.
That's not what I said.
But it is what you said.
No. That's how you felt about what I said. What I actually said, was and you're looking at someone who really doesn't like Meghan Markle and doesn't like that spoiled.
Oh no, let's not go back to. I can't hear another thin-skinned, slightly ageing white man be demeaning about Meghan Markle. Not when we've just gone global with one of our leading celebrities wanting to throw excrement at her when she's naked paraded down the street.
I completely agree with you. I think we're agreeing. So let's try and find somewhere where.
Well, no, I can tell you we're not agreeing.
I'm agreeing with you that what he said was something I would see as being well above and beyond what I think free speech is there for. But I would ask you the question: do you think that the opposite of that, denying him the right to be so crude and disgusting and misogynistic, is better?
It is currently illegal to stir up hatred against, and I gave you some of the categories, race, religion, disability, sexual orientation. I would like gender to be one of those categories.
What is gender?
There was my gender as a woman, sex. I want it to be better protected.
Yeah, but I'm confused. What's gender? You're a woman.
I'm a woman.
Yeah.
If you are... And Jeremy Clarkson, the way he wrote that article, he was very clever. He knows you can't stir up hatred against Meghan Markle on the basis of her race. But she was posited throughout that article very much on the basis of her femininity. She had, to use Donald Trump's expression, whipped her husband, Harold Markle, into his subservient position. She'd basically brainwashed him, but he hated her more than he compared her to two other women, to Nicola Sturgeon and to the murderer, Rose West. So this was about Meghan Markle's femininity. He then asked us to imagine her naked. So he wants to take a woman and us to imagine her naked, and he then wants to shame her and parade her down the street and throw excrement at her. That is hatred towards women, and I don't think that's acceptable.
Look, I agree with you.
Yes, so let's change the law.
No.
Yes.
No, that's where I don't agree with you.
Why not change the law?
Because I don't think it's illegal to hate people.
But do you know, the problem is, what happens otherwise is big bears like you, Jeremy Clarkson, Piers Morgan.
Hang on a
you
minute,
sit
am I-
there-
what-
No,
big
because
bear?
actually on this occasion you've said, whoa, I wouldn't even say that. But generally,
I wouldn't.
you like to poke with a stick. You go as far as you can. You push the right-wing envelope.
That's what free speech
and as
is all
I've
about.
explained, you men, Nigel Farage, Dan Wootton, have disproportionately large platforms. You get little me's on, a doctor incidentally, but nonetheless just a little woman, on, and you bear bait us for clicks. Clickety-click, clickety-click. And actually, Jeremy Clarkson will be emboldened by this.
I'm
and
just
I want to
listening
stop
to
it.
you. I'm not even. You see, this is, I think, one of the problems that
Yeah.
men will have. It's like I'm condemning what he said.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that on a philosophical level, I protect everybody's right to free speech. I think it's
Everybody's
better.
right. You want paedophiles, fascists, you want racists. Do you really want everyone to have freedom of speech?
What's the option? What's the alternative?
At the moment, they're enshrined in law is actually to be protected against fascists and paedophiles and terrorists.
So it's enshrined in law.
Yes.
So we just leave it. I found what he said abhorrent. I didn't find it abhorrent. I thought it was clumsy and crap. Ooh, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but it was dreadful. And I condemned it. And I don't see why I'm getting a lecture for supporting you.
Because you've come out on Twitter saying, you've said there, oh, okay, with where freedom of speech is at the moment. And I'm saying, but it's not good enough. Because actually what this does is emboldens misogynists. Someone like Jeremy Clarkson now, he got his grand tour mentioned on your television. The Sun's probably not sold so many since 1990.
It's probably why he did it.
Well, exactly. And I'm
day.
saying that is not acceptable. And the way to stop it is to change the law.
Stop with the law changing.
And then knock little men off their platforms like you.
Little man? I thought I was a big man.
Well,
a bear, you said I was.
Because you have a big platform, darling.
All right, darling.
Will I scuttle out of your cave now and leave you in your cave?
It's not a cave. You're more than welcome to stay.
I've been quite angry. You make me angry, Laurence.
Well, I'm very sorry. I've literally said nothing.
You didn't have to.
Whew.
Just by sitting in for Nigel Farage, darling.